everyone. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. In less than 2 years, Project Homekey has been able to produce over 12,000 units across California. Now, thanks to additional state funding, people experiencing homelessness and those at risk will get a shot at a better life through interim and permanent housing, including on-site help in other areas like mental health, childcare, or job training.
Today we're celebrating two things. The opening of a new building that's going to provide dozens of new units of housing to people who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. We're also celebrating this is the 30th building in 2 years that we've been able to buy because of Project Homekey, which is a state program that Governor Newsom helped with the legislature roll out. And in Los Angeles, we said, the more money you roll out, the more buildings we're going to find.
This was the second year of an effort initiated by the state to go out and purchase buildings that are readily available to house a homeless population. It's been an incredibly successful program, really modeled after Project Homekey, which was leasing hotel units at the time. Here we're actually purchasing them.
And most importantly, there's services on site. So the people concerned, our community group here, will give them mental health care, anti-addiction programs, job training, child care, whatever they need to get back on their feet. And when they stabilize, they can move out of here to another apartment and open this up for the next person coming off the streets.
It's critically important for us to continue doing everything possible to bring more affordable housing and services together. And so Homekey, in less than 2 years, has been able to produce over 12,000 units across the state.
The second round for Project Homekey, we secured nearly $400 million from the state, and approximately another $200 million from the city and the Housing Authority were contributed to make these purchases. The Housing Authority is also contributing project-based Section 8, and then the county is providing services.
What I love about this building is half the units will be for folks who are experiencing homelessness, but half will be people on the verge of homelessness, so we don't have to figure that problem out later. We'll keep them from ever becoming homeless at all.
Later in the program, we'll hear about the rescue mission, another place where unhoused individuals receive help. More state funding good news. Our beloved Griffith Park is getting $4 million for safety transportation improvements. Councilmember Nithya Raman and Mayor Garcetti were on site to discuss the benefits of making sure freeways are for cars and parks are for people. Let's take a look.
We decided to throw this event to celebrate by being able to secure $4 million in the state budget this year for safety improvements, for traffic upgrades and infrastructure in Griffith Park.
The Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners agreed that a pilot closure of a small stretch of Griffith Park Drive is now going to be permanent, which means that a huge amount of the cut-through traffic going through Griffith Park is now stopped. Now that's no longer able to be used as a cut-through. Our champion for Griffith Park in Sacramento, Assemblymember Laura Friedman, has brought us $4 million for transportation improvements in the park. It's an incredible, incredible achievement.
Councilmember Nithya Raman, who's been so instrumental in improving Griffith Park by closing a section of road that was used for cut-through traffic and by centering the safety of cyclists, pedestrians, and people who are just here to have fun with their family.
Not only has it reduced cars here, but it's also worked to reduce cars on some of the other roads in the park.
It's such a big urban park and offers so many amenities to average Angelenos, to tourists, to everyone who happens along. This funding is transformative and will help the park thrive.
So this is part of our vision to make sure that we reduce traffic deaths, that we open up this park. Freeways are for cars, parks are for people, and today we're showing that.
The first and only UNESCO World Heritage Site in Los Angeles celebrated its reopening with a lawn party. Barnsdall Art Park, which includes Hollyhock House and many other facilities, is now open to the public and welcomed visitors with a party featuring a puppet show and other engaging activities. Check it out.
We are here to celebrate the reopening of the landmark historic Hollyhock House. It's the first and only UNESCO World Heritage Site in the city of Los Angeles, and it is the centerpiece of the campus here at Barnsdall Art Park. We're also here to celebrate the reopening of all of the other facilities managed by the Department of Cultural Affairs here at Barnsdall Park.
It's really wonderful to see our community back here enjoying Hollyhock House once again. There's so many local fans for this site. This is the first time we've been open since the pandemic began, and we're thrilled to be welcoming our visitors back to LA's one and only UNESCO World Heritage Site. Today's lawn party is going to be featuring performances from Bob Baker Marionette Theater. We've got a DJ playing music, we've got crafts, and free hot dogs sponsored by Fort LA. There's a wonderful ecosystem here on Olive Hill, which is Barnsdall Park. It was gifted to the city in 1927 by Aline Barnsdall, who originally commissioned this house from Frank Lloyd Wright, and it's become a really vibrant arts community.
So the community comes to Barnsdall Park for a huge number of arts and cultural opportunities. We're so fortunate to have so much going on for people to take advantage of, and classes and theaters and arts opportunities. So they come to take tours of Hollyhock House. They can come and take classes at the Barnsdall Art Center. We have our Barnsdall Gallery Theater here and our Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery. So this is one of many, many events and opportunities that we have with the city's Department of Cultural Affairs.
I'm the publisher of a publication called Discover Hollywood Magazine, and that's part of why I'm here. The publication is about the unique culture and lore of Hollywood, and if anything is part of the unique culture and lore of Hollywood, it's Hollyhock House and Barnsdall Art Park.
I'm here today as a long-time resident of the area and active in Hollywood, and we have been familiar with Barnsdall and, of course, Hollyhock House for many years. And one of the things that the Hollywood Arts Council did was really promote this area to the entire community, because it's not just a wonderful location for the arts, it's really a location for all the people of our city. It's a real celebration that the house is being opened again for the public, and it's a very, very big day. And where else would you be on a day like today?
We're so happy that this amazing resource is back and open to the public. It's been 2 tough years during the pandemic not being able to share it with people, but it is really a priceless treasure, and spaces like this are meant for people to be in them. They're meant to be shared with the public, so we're so happy that it's open once again, and we encourage everybody to come and visit this incredible landmark.
Stick around to hear about how the Central Library is another place where Angelinos can dive into the art space with its A Day of Poetry in LA. Many Angelinos' cars have been prey to catalytic converter theft, and in order to prevent it, the LAPD Newton Division held a free catalytic converter etching event for members of the community. Those who attended got their VIN numbers marked, making their catalytic converters less likely to get stolen.
So today we're here at Gilbert Lindsay Park, and we're partnering with LAPD Newton Station, who's offering a free catalytic converter etching event for the community.
We go around communities once a month for the last, I'll say, several months to help the impact with Burlington Motor Vehicles and GTAs. Newton has been hit very hard with the etching, and community members have been losing the Cadillac converters, batteries, etc. When they get their cars returned. So this will help the impact also with our task force that we work with LAPD and other entities hand in hand.
That's the thing that's going on right now. Cadillac converters being stolen off of cars, and they try to register them so they keep them from being stolen. A lot of cars that's around here sounding real loud, Cadillac converter is gone.
Etching event is free, completely no cost, so it's open to anybody that hears about it, local community members. So yeah, definitely let your friends and family know that this is happening.
All it takes is 2 minutes for them to do what they're doing.
Applications for the Lead 12 Excellence in Leadership program are now open. LA Sanitation is holding a condiment and utensil drop-off drive, and the city attorney files a lawsuit to keep school spaces safe. These stories up next on City Beat.
The Office of Council District 12 has opened applications for the Lee 12 Excellence in Leadership Program for high school students within the Northwest San Fernando Valley District. The program is designed to train the next generation of young leaders as they learn how the City of Los Angeles functions. Selected students will participate in the political and civic process, formulate public policy, and expand their leadership capacity. Previous participants proposed and developed community projects with funding provided through the leadership program. Applications due on September 9th can be found at bit.ly/Lee12 program. LA Sanitation and Environment's City Facilities Recycling Program is holding a condiment and utensil drive. Sealed, unused takeout utensil packs and condiment packets can be dropped off at LA Sand Yards and some city buildings. Collected items will be donated to the Midnight Mission and the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Items can be dropped off Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. from August 29th to October 28th. For more information about hours and drop-off location addresses, visit lacitysand.org. City Attorney Mike Feuer has filed a nuisance abatement lawsuit against alleged apartment owners to help prevent gun violence in South LA.
We continue to have an emergency when it comes to public safety and gun violence, and our office is taking an array of significant approaches to try to combat it.
Less than 1,000 feet from two elementary schools, the building has been the site of shootings and multiple LAPD arrests in the past 2 years. The lawsuit seeks an injunction requiring measures such as an electronic gate and security monitoring to be installed for safety. This is part of several recent actions against property owners by Feuer to create safe spaces in neighborhoods for schools. Feuer encouraged LA residents to help continue safety efforts through anonymous reporting of similar property issues at lacitятtorney.org.
How would you feel if you could ride a bike or walk down a street without a car in sight? Now in its 40th edition since its conception over a decade ago, CicLAvia is an event which closes certain LA streets to cars, allowing pedestrians and cyclists to take back the streets and experience LA in a different way. Let's take a look.
I'm excited about today's CicLAvia.
It's the 40th CicLAvia, and CicLAvia has been around for over a decade now. And what they do is they shut down streets to automobile traffic and have people ride their bikes or walk up and down the entire stretch. And I think for Los Angeles, which is really still a car-focused city, it allows people a chance to get on their bikes, to explore what it means to take back the streets for pedestrians and bicyclists, and to think about how the streets could look different going forward.
CicLAvia, these events are really great opportunities to experience Los Angeles really close up and slow down. I mean, typically we drive through our neighborhoods in our cars, isolated, and in our events you get to sort of be with people, be in neighborhoods, and really see businesses that you never get to see before. And it's a great way to support small businesses. It's a great way to get to know communities and culture. And we move our event all around the city and all around the county, so you can get opportunities to see neighborhoods you've never been to before. It also might come to you, so you get opportunity to see your own neighborhood in a way you never see before. So we do a lot of work to make sure folks can connect and really get to know each other and the neighborhoods that we touch.
We love CicLAvia!
Look around. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. Everybody's having so much joy and fun reclaiming these streets. What it's about to me, first of all, is building community. Looking each other in the eye, getting to know new friends, recognizing that we live in a community of people who want to be out and want to be with us. There's the part about active transportation, knowing that we can move around this city, this dense and sometimes small city, using methods other than single occupant cars. So by riding bikes, walking, using the buses, using mass transit, we can get around in a way that's more sustainable and reduces emissions. And then it's about public health. It's about us being healthier by living a more active lifestyle and putting drivers on notice that the streets are for everyone and that they need to be careful when they're out driving.
Anybody who wants to do it, come on and do it. And you don't have to wait a year to do it because it happens with frequency. And you don't have to be a great bike rider. You don't have to have a great bike. All you have to do is want to get out there, get a little exercise, meet people, and experience our wonderful neighborhoods in Los Angeles and today in West Hollywood.
We have to start thinking about getting people out of their cars if we want to get serious about impacting climate change. And I think even if you were to change all to electric vehicles, we still wouldn't see the impact in our air and on our streets that we really want to see. And so for me, this kind of effort, which really inspires people to get out of their cars, this is really, really important.
The first annual Women in Sports Conference was hosted by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Channel 35 was on hand to capture how women from all different fields gathered to learn about the multiple avenues of a career in professional sports. This was a chance for women to hear stories from peers already working in this traditionally male-dominated space.
What an exciting day today. It is the first annual Women in Sports Conference hosted by the Los Angeles Dodgers. We have women from all over the industry, from all professional sports, football, baseball, basketball. The whole idea today is to help women think of a career in professional sports, in sports in general.
I think a key goal of today is trying to showcase the multiple avenues available for women working in sports. We have speakers that are speaking about working in broadcasting and media, or roles in the front office, how to not only get your foot in the door, but for those of us who are already here, how to continue to grow and move up through organizations. The big part of being a woman in sports is balancing your life outside of it. So we'll be talking about being moms, being parents, how to juggle work-life balance, and hopefully how to open doors for women to follow behind us.
I think at times sports can seem like an intimidating industry to get into, regardless of how much you love sports. You know, it's been known that it's a male-dominated world, but actually it's completely different now. It's 2022, and I think women, of course, as always, can do anything, and I want them to feel confident and empowered to be able to achieve their dreams.
This is to expand their horizons and help them think, like, what could a career look like for me? What is the path to get there? What would I need to plan? What should I study? Where should I intern?
I think it's important for people in these positions to create opportunities, to have interns or have seasonal assistants or part-time roles, because that's how people get the opportunity and they're able to learn and then create those relationships that are able to help them move on forward in their careers.
Edgar Allan Poe once said, "Poetry is the rhythmical creation of beauty in words." In its commitment to language and culture, the Central Library held a Day of Poetry in LA, a gathering of over 100 poets. During this event, poets shared their work with fellow poetry lovers and talked about acting as the voice of a community.
It is a day of poetry in Los Angeles, and it appropriately and wonderfully is here at the Central Library here in downtown LA. It is a gathering of over 100 poets from throughout Southern California, and we will have a reading today with 62 poets reading, so it's a really fantastic day.
This is the first time this sort of gathering has happened in the Central Library, and we're very excited about showing our community and how strong we are and how committed we are to language and culture and the city.
It's a celebration of literature and the arts. You know, poets speak to their times, and we're here to share the voice of the community. So to have it all together here in the heart of the city, we couldn't be happier to be here today.
Especially after the COVID pandemic, a lot of us weren't able to gather, and we all know that there's strength in numbers. So a gathering like this is just really great for the community, showing what LA is all about. And poetry for me has been the vessel through which I understand I can make change by just sharing my opinions, sharing my experiences and what I observe in the world and what that means to me.
Poetry, I think, is the lifeblood of a community's intent to be a community. I think poets add a spiritual element to whatever's going on in our communities. It's crucial, especially when language is something that people don't always find. It's power to me, and when you don't have much language, you don't have much power. So for me, it was very important that I had a domination of both Spanish and English. And I was somebody that was punished for speaking Spanish and then not taught English very well. Poetry gave me purpose and meaning, and I've been carrying it ever since.
I think there are poems that people will come to, myself included, and not quite understand them, and that's fine. We don't understand every piece of music or every movie that we see, but there's some that we do understand because people know instinctively if there's a birth, if there's a death, if there's a marriage, if there's a graduation. They want the poets because they know the poets know how to wrap language around those events. So there's something for everyone.
The Los Angeles Public Library is a place of imagination. It's a place of lifelong learning, access, empowerment. We are a place that is about sharing stories. So to have all of these writers, these poets, young and older, all here in the Central Library, it's very special for me as city librarian. And certainly we hope people will be inspired to write themselves and to explore all of the amazing collections here at Central Library.
Poets in LA. Poetry is the most accessible form of art. So if you have a line, if it's just a word that inspires you, take it and run with it. And no poem is perfect. No poem is the best. Just have enough confidence in what you have to say to be able to share it with the world.
As general manager of the LA DOT, Selita Reynolds tirelessly worked on something that touches the lives of everyone in the city, our public transportation. As she exits this position, we wanted to take a look at some of her highlights and memorable achievements during her service to our city.
This is a very big day and a very good day for the city of Los Angeles. I am pleased to introduce to you today Ms. Selita Reynolds.
I'm Selita Reynolds. I'm the General Manager for the Los Angeles Department of Transportation. It is a great honor and a great responsibility to serve the mayor, to serve you, to partner with folks in your communities, to work on something that touches the lives of everyone in this city. It is easy, seamless, affordable, reliable, and dignified to get around LA without a car. And our job is to first put all of those parts together, make sure all those programs exist, Blue LA and Bike Share and EV buses, and then to make sure they're coordinated, that, you know, we're the kind of symphony conductor to make sure that all of the different instruments are harmonizing, and to make sure that those things are as easy to access as the other things that you are accustomed to using your smartphone to get access to. When I go out and I ask people what's important about their streets, they want them to be well organized. Great streets should be safe. They should set the table for people to be able to age in place. They should be magnets to build community, to build neighborhoods, and to draw the best and the brightest of the city of Los Angeles. And the way to get there is through partnering with you all, with strong community organizations, and with the other agencies in the city, and to make the DOT a great place to work.
In this week's feature story, Anita Bennett sits down with Reverend Andy Bales, CEO of the Rescue Mission. Located in the heart of Skid Row, it has been running for 131 years, helping the homeless community transition to permanent housing. Let's hear the story.
The homelessness crisis here in Los Angeles continues to make headlines, and lately it's been stirring even more debate. Joining me now to discuss this issue is Reverend Andy Bales. You are the CEO of the Union Rescue Mission. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Anita.
The shelter is located on Skid Row.
Right in the heart of Skid Row, always has been for 131 years in Los Angeles.
So let's start by talking about the pandemic. How has that affected the homeless population at the mission?
Overall, the pandemic, I think, added, unfortunately, 20,000 people to our streets. But at the mission, it hit us really hard. We went from about 1,250 under our roof to down to about 280, and then began to rebuild, and we just kept battling.
In terms of the people at the mission, do you have a number, a percentage of them that moved to permanent housing eventually?
Yes, since we created the Gateway program, which teaches responsibility, helps people with budgeting, we were averaging about 900 people per year moving into housing, but now that we're about half of that, I believe we hit about 450 people. And that may seem small, but it's working. When we set up Hope Gardens, we know moms are moving not only from Hope Gardens into permanent housing, but they're saving between $12,000 and $17,000 before they move out and are able to get a job, never to experience homelessness again.
How long can they stay at the mission?
People can stay as long as it takes to get on their feet. We never force anybody to leave. We try to gear our programs so people advance, like a 1-year recovery program, followed by 6 to 24 months of transitional housing, and then hopefully a launch from there.
In terms of decentralization, I talk to so many people, and people don't want those services in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the needs of the unhoused with the residents, the renters, the homeowners?
Starting with Hope Gardens, which was about 16 years ago, we believe in decentralizing. So we were successfully able to overcome neighborhood opposition. Let me just put it that way. We finally overcame and we moved into Hope Gardens, transitional housing for single moms with kids and permanent supportive housing for seniors. And the neighbors now love us. One neighbor went from saying we were going to be a human trash heap to now coming to tears and saying, if those moms and kids weren't here, I don't know where they would be. So total heart change by the neighborhood.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Reverend Andy Bales. I'm just amazed that you are able to stay motivated with what you've been through, and yet you continue to work towards helping the homeless. So we applaud you and we thank you.
I do that because of the lives change that I see every day. It's worth every effort.
See the play When Yuri Met Malcolm about history and activism. Learn about percussion and participate in The Spirit of the Drum, or attend the Barbara Morrison Jazz and Blues Music Festival. All this up next on Things to Do.
During the 1960s, two of the most well-known leaders of the Black and Asian American communities formed a bond that is the heart of a new touring production from the East-West Players Theater for Youth. When Yuri Met Malcolm follows Yuri Kochiyama's life and legacy from her days in internment camps to her activism, told through the prism of her unlikely friendship with Malcolm X. Teens and adults are welcome to attend this performance, learn about these two American symbols of social activism, and participate in a Q&A moderated by Chinatown Teen Council members. The free East-West Players theater production of When Yuri Met Malcolm will take place in the Chinatown Branch Library on Saturday, September 10th at 2 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org/events. If you love percussion and grooving to the rhythm of drums, you may be interested in attending The Spirit of the Drum with Roberto Conga Kid Gutierrez at the Van Nuys Branch Library. This free session will allow you to connect with your inner drumming spirit as well as fellow drummers in an interactive drum circle. Attendees will also have the chance to learn about West African and Cuban drums, a variety of different percussion instruments, and learn basic drumming patterns. This event is open to kids and adults and will take place at the Van Nuys Branch Library on Saturday, September 10th at 1:30 p.m. For more information and details, visit lapl.org/events. Attention jazz and blues lovers in LA. The late jazz icon Barbara Morrison is being honored on what would have been her 73rd birthday with a music festival and the unveiling of a square named after her. The naming ceremony, officiated by the Office of Council District 10, will be followed by a day-long music festival. Attendees will see a lineup of performances from the likes of Eloise Laws and Barbara Morrison's band, the Boo Crew. You'll also see local musicians, singers, and DJs, as well as a variety of vendors and food trucks. The Barbara Morrison Jazz and Blues Music Festival is free and open to the public. It takes place at the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center in Leimert Park on Saturday, September 10th from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. For more details, visit tbmpaac.com. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.